Hi guys, my name is Jo Park. I'm currently a private chef in New York City, and today we're going to make kimbap. Kimbap is a Korean, like a rice roll wrapped in seaweed with pork jowl bacon. So it's gonna be a jowl bacon BLT kimbap. Kimbap, a lot of people confuse kimbap and Japanese sushi, and the biggest difference I can say is sushi is Japanese and kimbap is Korean. Japanese sushi is seasoned with vinegar, and Korean kimbap is the rice is based with sesame oil, so it's more savory. You can put any fillings of choices. Traditional things are pickled daikon called tanmuji, egg omelet, a lot of vegetables, but today we're going a little different than traditional, so using the pork jowl bacon. For me, growing up, it's like the most iconic dish to take it to a picnic or like a school field trip. So I remember waking up in a field trip day, my mom would be rolling kimbaps in the morning. So you just eat the end piece and you just take the nice ones to school.
And do you hold it whole or you slice it?
You can use, mostly it's sliced, so it's easy to eat, but you can definitely eat it like a big one. There's also all these different types of kimbap. There's the mini one. There's the naked one with rice and just seaweed, and there's a little different banchan to eat together. So it's not just one type of kimbap, there's actually little different styles too. Sure. First, we're going to start by baking the pork jowl bacon. I have the oven preheating at 350. I have a sheet tray with a rag, and I do have a foil underneath, so it's easier to clean up after. I'm just gonna lay them down in a layer, and we'll bake this, depends on your oven temperature, 15 to 20 minutes until they're rendered out, they're nice golden brown. Yeah, these are really nice. So here I have a cooked rice, short grain rice. The ratio usually is 1:1. Try to make it little drier side than the wetter because you're going to season with sesame oil. So we'll season the rice. For about 1 cup of cooked rice, I like to put little less than a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. And just a salt to taste. And when you mix it, make sure you don't crush the rice grain. You just want to fluff it. Do a taste. It's ready. I'm going to put this on a side. You don't want your rice to be too hot when you're rolling the kimbap, or it's gonna shrink the seaweed. So you kind of want a little warm but not too hot. And for BLT, you need mayo. Today we're going to make samjang mayo. Samjang is a sauce, a Korean fermented sauce made of both spicy gochujang. Gochujang is a chili paste, and doenjang, which is a soybean paste. And I have Kewpie mayo here, but you can use any type of mayo of your choice. It's going to be equal part mayo to samjang. So I have about 3 tablespoons of each, and just like about a teaspoon or so of sesame oil. Just mix well. Ready? Next, let's do a tomato. Here I have Roma tomatoes. We're gonna quarter them, take the seeds out. We're gonna lightly salt them to draw out some moisture. So you cut them in half lengthwise and cut that in half again. And you flip it. And just gently, you're just taking out the seeds. you don't want to put anything too wet to the kimbap, or the rice gonna soak up everything and it's not gonna able to roll and cut nicely. I'm just gonna lay it here. And a little bit of salt. And next, one of the most classic ingredient, important ingredient of making kimbap is a pickled radish. They're called 단무지. This has been salted and pickle brine with salt, sugar, I'm sure a little bit of MSG for flavor. And this is as whole of a radish. And these are actually sold in Asian market, labeled for kimbap. So they are already cut into nice planks and pieces, so you don't have to cut anything to it. I brought two. If you can't find this one, I'll show you how to cut it using the whole one. And what I like to do to minimize, this is kim that we're gonna use. Kim is a Korean term for seaweed. This has been pressed and dried and toasted. And I'm just gonna use one piece to measure out my seaweed as a ruler, so we're not wasting. We're gonna roll lengthwise like this, but if you want, you can also make it on the side way to make a thicker one, since you have more space. But today, we'll go this way. So just put it next to it, mark it. Let's cut it down. This, you can reserve it for later, or any banchan, or as a side. And for this, easiest way, I'm just going to cut it in half. Oh, I'm sorry. After this, you're gonna make into planks. So I would say 1/4 of an inch. So we'll cut it into 1/4 of an inch. And from here, you lay it flat. You can also stack them too, and into a long strip. Just like that, you have it. Cut 단무지. And next, avocado. Not a traditional ingredient to go inside kimbap, but today we're making BLT, and I thought it would be nice adding creaminess to it with the salty, very savory jiao bacon. So I cut it in half, took out the seed, in quarters to peel the avocado. I would avoid using avocados that are too soft. I think these are perfect where it's little soft to the touch but little has the firmness. From here, I would just cut it into little spears. You can cut it like this. And for me, I think of kimbap as like a base where you have seasoned rice with sesame oil, and you have toasted seaweed. You have 단무지, which is important to put in, but you don't have to stick to the traditional ingredient, where if you don't like avocado, you can take it out and add egg omelet too. So you can have fun. And let's say if you don't have 단무지, you can find it, but you still want to make kimbap. What works really great well with this jiao bacon is pickled red onion works really well too. So tomato, I see the water, the moisture has been coming out. I'm just going to flip them to dry a little bit. And just like the avocados and 단무지, you see how we're all cutting into little, like a similar size. Same for tomato. And we have washed lettuce. Here we have two types, romaine, and this is red leaf. So something crunchy lettuce would be perfect, ideal. So do give little different texture while you're eating. And here I have perilla. It's a Korean mint, like a Korean mint flavor where it's a you use it a lot when you're eating some like a Korean barbecue. When you go to Korean barbecue, you have lettuce and then you usually put this perilla. It has very distinct flavor that I love, so today we're going to use it. But if you can find it, it's an optional thing, so no problem. Okay. So it's been about 18 minutes with this oven. Pull it out. You can see they're golden brown and delicious. We're going to let it cool down a little bit. Okay, while the Jao bacon is cooling down, we're gonna start rolling out our kimbap. So I'm gonna pull 2 kim, which is seaweed. There is a shiny side, and if you flip it, there's a gritty side. You're gonna put our shiny side down. This is gonna be the presentation side. Lengthwise. And I'm gonna take one more. This is gonna be a barrier between the rice and seaweed. So when we put in the wet ingredient like a tomato, it helps to make rice stay as they are, not the moisture. I'm going to use my bare hand. Take about a little less than a cup, about baseball size. Don't pack it too hard, about this much. And you start from the bottom, and I'm gonna fill about 3/4 to the top. And when you're laying the rice, the biggest thing is don't crush the rice. You're just using your fingers to gently fluffing the rice to even layer. Just a little more. So we have our rice spread very evenly on the seaweed. And from here, I'm gonna take this cut kim in half in center. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna start with lettuce. I'm just crushing the stem so it's easier to roll. One mini one. And perilla leaf. These are big, so I'm gonna cut it in half. Lay it. And our samjang mayo. Putting about a generous tablespoon. And you see how I'm building all the ingredients in the center. So it's only reason for me is that I can roll it and it's easy to roll. We'll go about 2 단무지, avocado, tomatoes, and finally a jowl, bacon. That's it, and we're gonna roll. If you have a kimbap mat or sushi mat, you can put it underneath and using to support to roll it. But personally, I just like to use it using my hand. You're just gonna grab the corner of the seaweed, and with your thumb, you're gonna bring it up, and your fingers are gonna push down the ingredients so they're not falling apart. This, and with your fingers, you're kind of pushing in the ingredients inside of the center of the kimbap. Making sure this seaweed is touching the rice. If it goes beyond the rice with the seaweed, it's not gonna roll, it's gonna fall apart. So make sure they're all tucked in nicely. And then gently roll, 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 and ta-da, it's ready. Finally, we are going to, you can use a brush. I'm just gonna use it using my finger to dip just a little bit of sesame oil. Gives a little sheen and an extra savory nuttiness. And I have the seam side down. If you are not sure how long they're going to, if you're like, I feel like they're gonna fall apart, you can just hang it there for a few minutes and then come back and then you can slice it. It should be easier to slice by then. Okay, slicing. I'm going to, since the end piece, people say it's the best part because you get all the ingredients in a big bite. I'm going to slice 2 again. Make it, and you have to make sure your knife is sharp and you're not pushing down, you're slicing. So I sliced that first one, and if you wanna see the center. Here we go. Nice and tight. So we're all set. We sliced the kimbap, and here we have a Zhao BLT kimbap using heritage pork Zhao bacon. I am currently doing private gigs, so if there are any private events you like, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can email me at unjokpark@gmail.com. Thank you.